beautiful pace.
There you go! And a little victory dance for Duffner.
Jason Duffner closed in style at Jack's place. This morning we will show you what you can learn from his game. And speaking of champions,
a major champion for the first time, Jimmy Walker.
Charlie Reimer is on location at the site of this year's PGA Championship. He will be joined by Jimmy Walker, who will show you how to execute with your driver under pressure. Plus, we take you inside the significant changes to Quail Hollow you will see at this year's championship. That and much more ahead on Morning Drive. Good morning. Welcome inside Studio AP. We start a new week. It is June 5th of 2017. Gary Williams, Carl Robinson, the rest of the gang in a moment. We're all in an excellent mood today, not because we just watched great golf over the weekend. She survived her bachelorette weekend American style. Good morning.
Good morning. I did, yes, and thank you to all the lovely ladies who spoilt me and looked after me. We had a wonderful evening, and yeah, here to tell the tale. You didn't think I would be, did you?
I wasn't sure, but somebody who was present, we say good morning to Lauren Thompson. Was that stretch limo long enough, Lauren?
It was
for all
her
you
first
ladies?
time in a limo ride. We couldn't believe it, and I posted a lot of things on Instagram from that, but also check this out. You know, we also love to cover wild sightings on the golf course. This recently from Gary Cox, the 8th green at Moose Run Golf Course just outside of Anchorage. Yeah. Talk about something that you don't want to see during your round. You want some birdies, you want some eagles, but a black bear out there. And he also caught a whiff of what was going on inside this bag. And you know bears, if they know that food is around, they're going to do their best to try and find it. Well, he pretty much succeeds and does just that. Obviously, it was tough to catch all of this on camera. The guys are trying to play it safe. Maybe move away their push carts a little bit too, but that bear, Gary, he managed to weasel a sandwich out of that golf cart.
Outstanding. That was perfect timing. It was Jack's week, right?
Yeah.
Why not have a bear out there?
Well, you know what? You have to be careful of animals on the golf course, obviously, but a lot of them are often after a bit of extra food. Even here in Orlando at the Ritz, I often get, the crows will literally come up into your golf bag, unzip something if they think that there's food in there.
Yeah, a crow is like the smartest bird. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I do now because I've witnessed them, stealing my lunch. So I'm now very aware.
All right, what is happening? Well, on the European Tour yesterday, a 20-year-old from Italy, Renato Paratori, he wins by one shot over Matthew Fitzpatrick. Got a little help from Chris Wood, who hit an errant tee shot. So he wins for the first time at the age of 20, Cara.
Yeah, meanwhile, in just her 7th start since her last win at the 2016 Rainwood LPGA Classic, In Kyung Kim triumphed again at the ShopRite LPGA Classic yesterday for the 5th victory of her career. Kim now moves from 71st to 24th in the LPGA's season-long race to the CME Globe standings.
And we knew that Lydia Ko was going to lose her #1 standing in the Rolex rankings, and by virtue of that, 21-year-old Ariya Jutanugarn is now the #1 ranked woman in the world. Heck of an accomplishment.
Incredibly so. And Jason Duffner, meanwhile, came back from a third round 77 to overcome a 4-shot deficit yesterday and win the Memorial Tournament presented by Nationwide by 3 shots. He joins Jack Nicklaus as just the 2nd Ohio-born winner of the event that is now his 5th on the PGA Tour. Well, for more on the new world number 27, let's say good morning to Damon Hack and Robert Damron.
Good morning, C-Rob. A great week in Dublin, Ohio. Good morning, pal. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Love this picture. A couple Ohioans. Jason Duffner's 5th win, as Carr mentioned. What'd you take away from the week?
We're going to cover Duffner more today. We're going to cover some of the Ricky stuff. But one thing that shocked me probably more than anything, Jason Day had his first top 25 at his home course in 9 attempts. His game travels fine. It's not like he's a horse for certain courses.
Yeah.
That was surprising. And trending in the right direction going to Erin Hills in a couple weeks.
Yes, he is. We all saw the putt Duffner made, by the way, on the 18th hole. 32 feet, 7 inches, his longest made putt of the week. Reminded me of this moment back in 2012. The Byron Nelson going for his 2nd win in 4 weeks, 25 feet. Look at similar celebration. There's Dickie Pride, beat him by a shot.
I think I heard Dickie's heart break there. Just if you listen really closely.
And here was yesterday. This is for par after that drive to the right.
This is a little different, being an uphiller, but
love that celebration.
Equally as dramatic. That's as much as you'll ever get out of Duff. Too.
Absolutely. And he moves from 25th to 6th, by the way, in the U.S. President's Cup standings. How about some watch and learn from Duff? Are you ready?
How about it? Yeah, let's see what we can take away from the Duff.
Because everything was working. Led the field in strokes gained approach, tee to green, greens in regulation. Let's start with the short game.
One day, everything was working. One day was a little off, but
we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
We'll get to that later.
How about this on Thursday? This is a short game shot that really scares the bejeebas out of the
That's it.
folks
What
at home.
shot scares the amateur more than anything? And it's a chip over a hazard, bunker or water. So most of the time when players of a lesser caliber than Duff mess that up, they stand up, they try to help the ball up. Please get it over that stuff, not into it. So they try to help get over it. I'm going to show you, roll it. Watch how Duffner does it. He actually buries his club into the ground and in the grass. He is short little follow through and stabs it down low. Also uses the bank. We're going to cover that too, when and when not to use the bank. But when you're hitting that shot over the bunker, spine angle, knee flex stays the same all the way through the shot. Don't swing up on it. Swing level down through the grass. Power through the grass. Don't try to help that ball up. The loft will do that just fine.
All right, Duffner shot 65 on Thursday. It's fast forward now to Friday. His approach shot from 18 fairway.
Well, this is the shot of the week. Obviously, we're going to see this a lot. And what struck me is he uses the backstop for this. And was that a strategy? Is there some reason he did it? Let's go ahead and roll it. And I'm going to show you what he does. Of course, we've probably all seen this shot 15 or 20 times so far. I'm kind of killing the excitement. It goes in. Don't.
But listen again.
Spoiler alert, it goes in.
You talked about using the slope.
He did use the slope. The ball was a foot away from actually being in the rough and having a near impossible chip. What I see is the slope is always easier to use, a backstop, something like that. If you have a perfect yardage, don't mess with that slope. Otherwise, use it. Use it to your advantage. Why not? You got a yardage book. Maybe not quite as good as Duffner did there, but if you've got a perfect number, this is a driving range 8-iron, don't even worry about the slopes, look right at the pin. Otherwise, use those slopes. They're there for your advantage.
How about his signature, the waggle? We're going to go to his tee shot on 11 on Saturday. You know, people, this is like a rhythm thing, is it not? It's
a rhythm. It's a tension killer. His waggle is unique to anyone else's, of course. It's big and it's long and it's flowy. Again, a waggle is strictly a tension reliever. Here's the thing, when he putts, and he's not a great putter by any stretch of the imagination, he's different. He's very stagnant and still right before he goes. If he could implement some kind of waggle, being true to himself, because that's the way he walks around. He's fidgety, he's loose, waggly. If he could implement that into his putting, maybe a little forward press, maybe shuffle his feet a little bit, maybe just look up a couple more times to keep things flowing and moving, I think that stroke would smooth out, and that's a good idea for everyone at home. Be true to yourself.
Speaking of smoothing out, how about this par putt for the win on 18 yesterday?
Well, this is one where strategy comes into play. I'm 2 up. Ricky's just off the green. This is for par. Do I go for it? Do I lag it up there and make Ricky try to chip in? He went for this. He has been shaky notoriously, again, on those 3-footers, so that surprised me a little bit. I think he assumed that Ricky was going to chip in, so I'm just going to take the bull by the horns and win right here. But at home, when you're playing against somebody, I'm assuming you're not playing someone the ability, the level of a Ricky Fowler. Sometimes, like if you're playing tennis, it's good just to get the ball back and let them make a mistake. It would have been good for Duff to lag it up there. Well, good to make it, but at home, lag it up there close. If the other guy chips in, so be it, but they're probably not going to.
Final round 68, good enough for his 5th PGA Tour win. We send it back over to Gary.
Okay, Damon, let's wind the clock back to 2013. Phil Mickelson, he said he had a love-hate relationship with the Open Championship. He used to hate it, then he grew to love it. And why wouldn't he? Because he would go on and win his 5th major championship. This on the 71st hole, the 17th, a par 5 at Muirfield. He has 42 PGA Tour wins, and of course, when you consider his career, there's just one little hole, and it's a pretty big one, I'm sure, in his heart, and that is that U.S. Open. 6 occasions he has finished runner-up. Obviously, he has won the other 3 times, having won the Masters 04, 06, and 2010. And the news over the weekend that he announced that he would be foregoing an opportunity to complete the career Grand Slam. He will turn 47 Friday of U.S. Open week, which is June 16th. The event starts on the 15th because he will attend his oldest daughter Amanda's high school graduation. Robert, you're a player. You have to make decisions about your schedule. This is a rare opportunity to try to do something that very few men have done. And like I said, he's going to turn 47. Your thoughts about this decision?
Well, as beautiful a sentiment as it is that he's going to do that, the timing of the announcement seems a little PR related to me. Maybe I'm just a cynical guy. I think it's a great thing. Family's far more important than your golf, far more important than winning U.S. Open. But this is the U.S. Open. Maybe the family should say, we'll FaceTime you in on this. This is your history in the making, possibly. And he hasn't played that well this year, of course, but it wasn't that long ago we saw him at Troon playing the best he's probably ever played, and just happened Stinson beat him. But I don't know. I'm torn on both sides of this.
I mean, I can understand the decision. It's his oldest daughter, Amanda. She's only going to graduate from high school once. She's giving a speech during the ceremony. You guys are all fathers. You know what it's like to make these difficult decisions. The U.S. Open is going to roll around once every year. His oldest daughter's high school graduation isn't. And sometimes, Damon, as a parent and as a sportsman or any kind of working man, you're faced with these decisions. But did it shock you, nonetheless, to find out the news on Friday?
It did surprise me. This is a child who was born a day after the U.S. Open in 1999, so it's been kind of part and parcel with his entire career. We saw it back in 2013. He flew back across the country before that U.S. Open at Marion. Just got back in time for his tee time on Thursday. What I found interesting, there's a really fascinating story in the New York Times. Jack Nicklaus faced this same type of situation every year at the Memorial. His kids went to a private school in North Palm Beach, Florida, and basically Jack leaned on the school and said, can you move the ceremony? And then he later made a joke and said, you know, I did pay that school a lot of money, but the school actually accommodated Jack Nicklaus. I'm a little bit surprised that maybe the school didn't know ahead of time to try to move it to Wednesday, one day before, because of Mickelson's place in our game.
Selfishly, on behalf of all of us, Pacific Ridge School, could you please move your commencement up
It's
by
not
one
too
day?
late.
It's not too late. All right, for now, let's send it back over to Lauren.
Interesting discussion on one major will lead into the discussion of the final men's major of the year. We've got Charlie Reimer up at Quail Hollow this morning, and part of his day, it's going to be busy, is a live talk with Jimmy Walker, whose long road to major championship glory happened on the longest day in over 6 decades of the PGA Championship. He called it a battle all day, and coming up, he's also going to tell you how to hit driver under major pressure and the lessons that he learned that year that led him to the Wanamaker. Then we're going to take you back to yesterday's winner at Jack's Place and the game inside the ropes and between the ears of Jason Duffner. Michael Breed, the host of the Golf Fix, is going to pinpoint the particular parts of his final round that made all the difference when it came to getting back into the winner's circle for Duff. Plus, all of the wildest moments from the Memorial Tournament presented by Nationwide that are begging for an encore. Must-see moments are still to come today, and they're not all from your winner, Jason Duffner. That list will include an insane drive from the world number 1. And you know what? Leave it to Dustin Johnson to just blow our minds off the tee, right, guys?
Truly, 413.
You got that shot?
Yeah, driver.
In our dreams. You're right.
Just stopped rolling. It was ridiculous.
Just now, stop.
Just now.